Hi everyone, and welcome back to Coombe Wood Golf Club, where we're going to continue our instructional series. And last time out, if you remember, we covered impact position and weight transfer using your iron clubs. Today we're going to move on to the big gun itself, the driver, and the subtle changes that we make in how we actually attack the golf ball with that golf club. If you recall, last time we were looking at iron play and getting the correct compression down on the golf ball, where the low point in the swing is to achieve ball contact first, and then taking a divot out of the turf. With the driver, it's a different sort of concept. The basics of your swing remain in place. We don't reinvent the golf swing, but obviously now the ball is perched up on a T-peg, and the main difference is what we call angle of attack. Angle of attack is how the club head is approaching the golf ball towards the bottom of the swing, and where the ball is in relation to the bottom of that golf swing. And that's brought about by what we do with the center part of the golf swing. And if you imagine your sternum is pretty much central in your golf swing, everything is rotating around that central point. Now with an iron, we kept the weight pressure very much on the inside of the right foot, getting the weight transferring to the left, the sternum's over the top of the golf ball, getting that compression and that squeeze down onto the golf ball. If you do that with a driver, it gets a little bit dangerous because the club is traveling downward into impact, can chop into the T-peg underneath the golf ball, and you can just roof it up in the air and lose a lot of yardage. So what we're looking to achieve with driver is a much shallower angle of attack. So how do we go about that? It's nothing that you do consciously within the swing. The setup position is really the control factor of all this. It's how you set up to the golf ball that will make a difference to that attack angle. So with an iron, my weight would be fairly evenly placed. With my shorter irons, I'd even load a little bit more weight into my left side, and that keeps me, as we say, on top of the golf ball so I can compress it. With driver, getting more of this sweeping action into the golf ball, I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to position the ball a lot further forward than I would do for any iron shot. It's right into my left instep, so it's well forward of my central position here. I'm also going to give my spine angle a little bit of tilt back behind the golf ball. So it just sets my upper body behind the golf ball. A line drawn down from my head here is going to be sort of in line with the back of the driver head itself, if not even a little bit further back. Now from that position, I can shallow the club coming into the golf ball as long as my head stays behind the golf ball. I don't want to get in front of the shot. That again is either going to leave the club head behind and open up the club face and I've got a big roaring slice, or again I'm going to chop into the ball too steep. So this is all about sweeping the ball off the T-peg, but being in a position where you can do that. So the ball position now is placed much further forward, not even left heel. I want to go further forward than that. I peg the ball up nice and high, so I've got plenty of club head underneath the golf ball. From that position, as I tilt my spine slightly back behind it, I can now get a very wide, shallow movement away from the golf ball, and that is essential. We don't want the wrists and hands to suddenly pick the club head up steep. That again is going to make for this steeper angle of attack back to the golf ball. So from that setup position, spine angle back behind it, that is going to load a fraction, I mean a fraction, more weight into the right side, the inside of the right leg and the right foot. So I've got about sort of 55-45 weight distribution in favor of my right side. That doesn't mean that I hit the ball with my weight on my right foot. I still want my weight to be brought forward into my left side, but essentially my upper body stays behind the golf ball. So from setup position wide into the backswing, as I'm approaching the ball, you can see my weight is transferred into my left via the lower body. The club head comes into a shallow position, my head is back behind it, and I'm able to sweep the ball up off the T-peg. Anything where the upper body, and this is the dangerous part where a lot of people slice or chop the ball straight up in the air, anything where the upper body gets in front of the golf ball creates a steep angle of attack. Chopping into the ground, you see some people even taking divots with a driver, and that's obvious evidence that the club has come in a little bit too steep. So as I set up to the shot, ball position well forward, spine angle slightly back behind it, sweeping up through the shot. No turf taken, haven't even moved the T-peg. Get into that setup position, spine angle back behind it, wide into the takeaway, the hips go forward, but your head is behind the ball. And really let that club head swing free. Good luck.